part 2. My alarm went off. So anyway, Travis Sparks built all of these buildings. And I'm going to give you just a brief tour. Travis lived at the top of a hill. He had a mobile home trailer. Somebody gave him a heart attack years before. But let me backtrack, because somebody unalived his wife just a few years after he moved here. That's how evil this town is. It was very bizarre. She was perfectly healthy, then has some bizarre operation, and then she bizarrely passes away. I guess they thought that he would collapse. But no, just like you and I, as a targeted person, he decided, in order to deal with his grief, he was going to build a village by hand with nobody's help. All of these buildings he built by himself, except for the gray buildings which I brought here. He built this entire village by himself. That building is a sewing building. That building was, he labeled Dr. Quack. It was the doctor's office. And inside there was all kinds of doctor equipment. Then he had a couple of sheds out here that he had his equipment in. He had an auto shop. I sold the contents of all of that because I needed the space. This is the country store. He built a country store here. He built Opal's Diner here. Opal's Diner. Opal's was a diner located in the center of town, which closed down during, I guess, 2021. You know, after that whole psyop, that medical psyop, you know, the one I'm talking about. So here, and I'll show you here, proof. Opal's. Come and dine. And when I moved here, this clock was in perfect condition. But the local criminals, they tore it up. They removed the handle here. They took off the frame. They scratched it. They dented this beautiful sign. You see what they did to this sign here? They cut a hole at the base of the door. There too. I had a railing here. They removed the railing, so they wiggled it so that it was collapsing. I had to remove the railing here because of these predators. The predators here in Jackson County, Kentucky. All of these buildings were covered in vintage art, vintage posters, vintage, what do you call them? Advertising signs. In order to live here, I removed them and sold them all. That building there, that was the auto shop. That is Nanny's dish shop. Nanny was his wife, and in memoriam of his wife, he created that little shop. And her silverware was in that shop. And guess what happened? The predators stole half of the silverware, so there's no longer a set. That little building, I don't know if it was called the smokehouse, next to Nanny's dish shop, there was a smith shop. But when I moved here, the predators were hanging out in the smith shop, leaving beer bottles, beer cans, Mountain Dew, and all that stuff. They were hanging out there, so I took down that building. There was also a smart meter there, which I derailed. I had removed because I did not need another smart meter here. Right, Zumi? And this is my 501c3 nonprofit cat building that they have systematically destroyed by puncturing holes at the base here, puncturing holes in all the nails. a hole here, scraping all the paint on the building, scraping all the paint, drilling the Freemason hole here. The Freemason holes. The Freemason holes. Yeah. Scraping the paint, rusting, deliberately rusting. Right, deliberately rusting things that don't rust. Then Travis Sparks built this entire building. It's a homestead. It's actually probably inside, it's probably the same size or even larger than my house. Now, maybe it's about the same size as my house. Inside are 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, a foyer, living room, and dining room. There is no bathroom in there. No running water, no electricity. Then Travis Sparks built the wash shop. And on the outside of here, there were the old washing machines, non-electric washing machines. I sold them. I knew that there were predators around here vandalizing things, so I was glad to sell them. So in here, this was the washroom. Now, Travis also built a hardware store, and in the hardware store, he had all the things that a hardware store would have, and I'm using it for storage right now. I haven't been able to burn a lot of things because of all the rain we've had. I see a big white thing over there. I hope my neighbor's dog is okay. I see a big white thing over there. I don't know if you could see it. You see that big white thing? My neighbor has 2 big, Pyrenees dogs. I hope that's not one of her dogs. Oh my goodness. I don't know, I'll have to go look over there later. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we've got the stream here. And when I moved here, all of this fence line was covered in weeds. My fence line up there covered in weeds. All of this covered, every tree was strangled by weeds. It took me years. I'm a little concerned. I hope that's not one of her dogs. Anyway, all right, let me back up over here. And then he built this outbuilding. And as you can see, there's a lot of old stuff here. A lot of it I've taken down and sold. So here I've got a very low battery. Let me zoom out. Very low battery here. You've got an outbuilding here that these criminals have destroyed. What they did is, you could probably see through the slots there. Travis did not leave it like that. He had wood covering every slot.